Hello. There's a lot of people on the internet and in newspapers and in the media telling you not to buy an electric vehicle. And I'm going to tell you why I think you should. Well, it's up to you. I don't care if you buy one or not. But when I see so much misinformation, then it makes me want to make a YouTube video. Hello, friends. My name's Nigel. Thank you for subscribing, and hope you can consider subscribing if you haven't already. And please leave a comment below. I'm sure if you don't like EVs and you think I'm wrong, you probably will. My experience has been that people with EVs are generally pretty happy with them, especially Teslas. Tesla drivers are delighted with their cars and would, in general, buy them again. The people that hate EVs the most are the people who haven't got them, haven't experienced what it's like having an electric vehicle. But it's entirely up to you. You know, it's your decision. There's lots of people telling you not to buy it, so here you go. I'm going to tell you why I think you should. Well, first and foremost, if you can charge at home, it's a complete no-brainer as far as the cost of energy is concerned, the cost of electric versus diesel and petrol. Now, I know not everyone can charge at home, but millions and millions of people in the UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, America, the people that watch this, Europe, can. And for them, I would say if you can charge at home, you know, start looking into the cost of buying yourself an electric vehicle as soon as you can. I mean, my experience is that even if you charge at the standard rate, it's less than the cost of petrol and diesel. Now, I charge at the Octopus Energy rate, 9p. You can get less. You can get less if you have a faster charger. And I charge at night between 12:30 and 4:30 at 9p an hour. That might not be enough for you. You might need more miles. I mean, nowadays I don't drive as much as I used to. Back in the day, I'd be doing 200 miles a day and I would have needed a fast charger. And oh, I wish I had an electric vehicle then, but I didn't. I was driving diesel, and the smelly diesel with smelly diesel on my hands whenever I filled up, and there's nothing good about that. I did have a comment once that somebody said, "No, I've never had diesel on my hands." Well, you're very, very lucky man. But anyway, the cost is so much less. I would say that it is a ninth the cost of diesel charging at home at my current rate, and you can get it even less than that, to a tenth. Tesla superchargers depends on the time of day that you charge. There are off-peak times you can get it much cheaper, and it's in the region of half the price of gas and diesel. And if you live close to a Tesla supercharger, or even 10 miles, there's a very higher than usual proportion of Tesla cars for those people that can't charge at home. Now, the charging thing is always probably one of the biggest negatives, because you've got all the petrol companies and some of the legacy automakers going into the public charging market and charging extortionate prices, quite outrageous. And you don't get that anywhere near as much in Europe, but we're in rip-off Britain, where we get used to being ripped off, and it's okay to charge 70, 80, 90p a kilowatt hour, and it's not. The wholesale price of electricity is only 6p a kilowatt hour, and charging those amounts by some companies is quite outrageous. The cost of electricity is so much cheaper. So if you consider then it's between 1/10 and 1/2 what you're paying for your gas, diesel and petrol, then that's a huge saving to be made. And if you can't charge at home, then there are still some free chargers. There's a thing on ZapMap, which is Home Charge, where you can charge with people who've got surplus energy, solar power, and they're making theirs available. It's much cleaner, and my electricity doesn't come from coal. It comes from, I'm completely surrounded by wind turbines, and I'm hoping to get solar panels at some time. So certainly the cost is a major consideration of fuel. You could say on the negative side is the cost of buying an electric vehicle. But have you had a look at new car prices or even second-hand car prices lately of petrol, diesel, gas? They're not cheap, and the cost of the EVs is coming down considerably. Now, when I bought mine, it was 42,000 in 2021. You couldn't at the time buy. You could buy a used one, but it was only a few £1,000s cheaper. Well, now it's completely different. You can get Tesla Model 3s for 17, 18,000, less than half the new price, and you can get Model S's, sort of 2014, 15, round about the 15,000 pounds. And if you say that's too expensive, well, yeah, okay, you can get. If you don't want a Tesla, you can get a much cheaper electric vehicle. But obviously, you're not going to expect to drive around the country in it. Now, as far as insurance is concerned, it's about the same. I had before I had my Tesla, I had an Audi A3. It's a little bit more expensive for my Tesla, but it's not thousands and thousands of pounds. I'm old, I've got no claims, and I don't drive like an idiot. And I'm sure if you're 18, 19, the insurance on the Tesla Model 3, as in any performance car, would be quite expensive. And when I say performance car, my basic model, Tesla Model 3, is a performance car at 5.8 seconds 0 to 60. If you look at some of the cars in the past, the E-Type and lots of cars that were real supercars in their day, got nowhere near that. And it was only a few years ago that there were only a handful of cars to get less than 0 to 60 in 5 seconds. Well, the basic model is 5.8 seconds, and you can get much faster than that. 2.5 seconds 0 to 60, if that's what you want. Depreciation is quite high. I'm not planning on selling mine, so I really don't see an issue. I've spent my entire life buying cars 3, 4, 5 years old. I had new ones when I was a company driver, but companies want reliability and they don't mind paying the price for leasing. If you can't charge at home, you can talk to your employer about putting in chargers. If you live in flats, talk to your landlord about putting in chargers at reasonable rates. Talk to your councillors about putting in street chargers. If you've got an electric light, you can have a street charger. There was a rule in France was that any car park over a certain size has to have solar panels. It's also a cover for cars, and it also provides charging facilities, which is a great idea. I mean, if you say, well, they don't do very well in the cold, well, Norway, 60% of cars there bought new are electric vehicles, and the big difference is the performance when it comes to the Tesla Model 3, the sheer delight of driving a car that is so great to drive. I had a comment from someone who had a Cortina GT, early 70s, and he said it's the same experience, the same feeling. It's really great to drive. And you don't need the noise, you don't need the smells. In fact, so much nicer without all those smells. So there's a lot to buying an EV. There's a lot of negative opinions, too many really. And I would say that consider it. You're a smart person, make up your own mind, and you look at some of the facts. But this person who drove for 50 years, gas, diesel, petrol, 2.5 years, totally sold on the Tesla. I'm sure the others, Hyundais, MGs, there's so many car manufacturers making them. Mini, some great cars out there. There are so many people that don't want you to buy an electric vehicle. Obviously the oil industry, but it's not just them. Legacy manufacturers don't want you to buy electric vehicle because they don't make money. on them. The only company making money on electric vehicles, apart from the Chinese, are Tesla, possibly Hyundai. They're making money. And of course the dealers definitely don't want you to buy an electric vehicle because there's no servicing, there's no repairs. There's really nothing for them to do. So thank you very much for watching this. I hope you can like and subscribe. That would be fantastic. And hope you can drive safely. And please don't forget to take your reusable coffee cup wherever you go. Thanks very much. Bye now.